The Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union from the 1940s to the 1980s was never about democracy versus dictatorships, but about capitalism versus communism. The USA actually undermined and overthrew governments that were democratic, but also anti-capitalist. So the claim that we were ever fighting for freedom and democracy anywhere was an outright lie. If the people in a sovereign country anywhere elect a government to set up a socialist/communist system, that should be none of our business, literally. The end of the Vietnam War should have blown away our delusions about ourselves as a country for good. We tried for decades to force capitalism, not democracy, on the Vietnamese, and only gave up when we realized we could only win the war by committing genocide, which we weren't willing to do. Then we went right back to national backstabbing against Iran and Iraq once enough time had passed and the memories of the Vietnam War had begun to fade away. Indeed, it could be argued that the Persian Gulf War and the Iraq War were actually desperate ploys by American capitalists to make themselves feel better after they got their asses handed to them by Vietnam. The Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin and his successors was no better, because it was a form of state capitalism with Stalin and the ones who followed him as the CEOs. And that form of absurdity continued until the USSR finally collapsed. A real communist society would have had no government control over the economy, because it would have been an anarchy, with the workers electing the corporate executives, who would only answer to those workers and not shareholders. Karl Marx completely misjudged human nature. Merely changing the economy from the top down does not change human nature. And you cannot force people to do better. They have to want it themselves.